Sexually attracted to you, one of the most powerful and honest indicators is his body language. It's not something he consciously controls. In fact, it often reveals what he's really feeling long before he ever says a word. That's because body language is driven by instinct. The human brain is wired to express desire and attraction through subtle, often involuntary physical cues. You may notice him holding eye contact just a bit longer than necessary. Not in a creepy or uncomfortable way, but in a way that feels intense, connected, like he's trying to see you and be seen by you. This kind of eye contact isn't just about being polite or interested in the conversation. It's about creating a deeper moment, even if it's just for a few seconds. Another sign is proximity. People instinctively move closer to those they are attracted to. If you're in a group setting and he always ends up sitting or standing near you, even when there are plenty of other places he could be, that's a clue. It's as if his body is pulled towards you. He might lean in when you speak, even when he can hear you perfectly well from a distance. He doesn't lean in because he has to. He leans in because he wants to. Being close to you, breathing in your scent, hearing your voice more intimately, it gives him a rush, and he'll gravitate toward that feeling without even realizing he's doing it. Mirroring is another key body language signal. This is when he subconsciously copies your movements. You take a sip of your drink, he takes a sip of his. You shift in your chair, he shifts in his. This kind of mimicking is a biological way of saying, I feel connected to you. It shows he's tuned into you on a deeper, more instinctual level. Mirroring is not something people do with everyone. It usually happens when there's an emotional or physical draw. The body is aligning with yours as a silent way of bonding. Then, there's how he uses his hands. If he's constantly finding small, subtle ways to touch his face, neck, or even adjust his clothes while talking to you, that's nervous energy, often fueled by attraction. His body is trying to discharge the tension he feels being around you, and when he talks with his hands, he might unconsciously expose the palms of his hands or angle his body toward you. These are signs of openness and trust, but when paired with other cues, they can also indicate a desire to engage more intimately. His posture also says a lot. A man who's sexually attracted to you will likely stand taller, broaden his shoulders, or puff out his chest slightly when you're around. It's subtle, but it's his way of physically presenting himself as more dominant, more confident, more appealing. It's the modern version of the peacock showing off his feathers. He may not be aware he's doing it, but it's nature's way of him trying to impress you. He wants to look strong and desirable in your eyes. Finally, you might notice him fidgeting in small, restless ways. He might adjust his shirt collar, run his fingers through his hair, or shift his weight from foot to foot. These are small movements, but they signal internal excitement or nervousness, emotions closely tied to sexual interest. When someone is calm and uninterested, they're still. But when someone is feeling that buzz of attraction, they become more animated, more physically reactive. All of these body language signs aren't random. They are deep-rooted indicators of sexual attraction. A man can try to play it cool with words, but his body will always speak the truth. When a man is sexually attracted to you, one of the clearest but often overlooked indicators is how his energy shifts whenever you're around. It's not just about what he says or does, it's about the vibe he gives off, the subtle but noticeable change in his behavior, tone, and presence. People don't always realize they're doing this, but attraction affects us on a very instinctive level. It shows up in our energy, and for men especially, that energy often becomes more charged, more alert, more alive when someone they're drawn to walks into the room. You might notice he suddenly becomes more animated. Maybe he's relaxed and casual when talking to others, but when he sees you, he sits up straighter, starts talking more, laughing louder, or trying a little harder to be engaging. It's almost like he's switched on, like a light just got flipped inside him. His energy rises because he wants to impress you, even if he's not consciously aware of it. It's not always about trying to flirt right away. Sometimes it's just the sheer excitement of being near someone he finds sexually attractive. That internal spark naturally shifts how he presents himself. Attraction often makes people nervous too. You might catch him fidgeting with his watch, tapping his fingers, or adjusting his clothes more than usual. These small actions are often attempts to manage the rush of energy he feels. He may stumble over his words a little, laugh at things that aren't that funny, or speak faster than normal. These are signs that he's excited and maybe a bit anxious because your presence matters to him. His usual confidence might give way to a slightly more vulnerable side, not in a weak way, but in a way that shows he's affected by you. Sometimes the energy shift shows up as a sudden burst of confidence. He may act more charming, more assertive, or more bold in conversation. He may crack more jokes, hold eye contact longer, or tease you playfully. This is especially common in men who are trying to impress someone they find sexually attractive. It's not just about being friendly, it's about standing out. He wants to be noticed. He wants to be remembered. So his energy becomes more focused, more intentional. It's as if his entire body language and tone are saying, "Look at me, I want your attention." There's also a kind of tension that enters the space when a man is attracted to someone. It's not awkward, it's electric. You might feel it in the pauses between your conversations, in the way he looks at you when you're not speaking. It's not always loud or obvious, but it's unmistakable once you know how to notice it. Even when he's trying to hide his feelings or play it cool, his energy betrays him. Maybe he goes quiet, almost reserved, but you catch him sneaking looks at you when he thinks you're not watching. He may stay on the edge of the group, but always positions himself where he can see you or hear what you're saying. That low-level intensity, that quiet focus is a giveaway. His body is still, but his attention is entirely on you. What makes this kind of energy so revealing is that it's hard to fake. People can choose their words, but they can't easily control how their energy responds to someone they're deeply attracted to. The way his mood shifts, the way his body becomes more alive, and the way he tunes into you with heightened sensitivity. It all points to the presence of sexual attraction. When a man is sexually attracted to you, one of the strongest indicators is how and when he touches you. Touch is a deeply personal and instinctive form of communication, and when it's tied to attraction, it becomes intentional, even if he doesn't consciously realize it. A man who feels a strong physical pull toward you will often find subtle, non-precious ways to bridge the physical gap. He might lightly touch your arm during a conversation or gently place his hand on your back as you walk through a door. These small gestures aren't random. They're usually his way of creating a sense of closeness, a way to feel connected to you without crossing a line. You'll often notice that his touch feels different from how he interacts with others. With friends or co-workers, touch is casual, functional, or absent altogether. But with you, it carries a softness, a purpose, a pause. He might let his hand linger for just a moment longer than necessary, not in a way that's uncomfortable, but just enough to feel intimate. This kind of touch is usually disguised under the excuse of something else, fixing your hair, brushing lint off your clothes, or helping you with your jacket. On the surface, it looks innocent, but underneath it's driven by a deeper desire to connect physically. The frequency of these touches also says a lot. A man who is sexually attracted to you will often look for moments to create those small points of contact. It might be a playful bump on the shoulder during a joke, a high five that turns into fingers briefly locking, or even the classic hand on the knee move during a shared laugh. The touch may be fleeting, but the impact is significant. It signals that he wants to break the barrier of physical space, to be closer, more connected, and more engaged with you. Touch also becomes a way for him to gauge your response. If you lean into it, smile, or reciprocate, it gives him a green light to go a little further next time. If you pull away or seem uncomfortable, he'll usually take a step back. So each touch becomes not just an expression of interest, but a test, a read of your comfort level, a silent way of asking, "Are you feeling this too?" It's his way of building intimacy slowly, respecting the line while still moving closer to it. You might also notice that he becomes more attuned to your physical presence in general. Maybe he stands close enough that your arms brush while walking, or he sits beside you in a way that your legs touch slightly and neither of you moves away. It's not just about the touches he gives. It's also about the touches he allows, the closeness he invites, and the way he reacts when your bodies are near each other. If he leans into your space rather than out of it, that's not accidental. That's attraction working through instinct. Another clue lies in how he responds when you touch him. A light touch on his arm or chest might cause him to smile more broadly, lean in, or return the gesture. He may even subtly reposition himself to be more accessible to you, turning his body toward you, removing physical barriers, or standing in open posture. That receptiveness, that invitation, is part of a feedback loop. When a man is physically drawn to someone, touch becomes both a signal and a reward. It's how he gives and receives emotional warmth, tension, and chemistry, all without saying a word. This kind of behavior isn't about being overly forward or crossing boundaries. It's about testing the waters of closeness, slowly creating a sense of familiarity and connection. A man who's sexually attracted to you doesn't just want to talk to you. He wants to feel you near him, even in the smallest, most respectful ways. Touch becomes his quiet language of desire. When a man is sexually attracted to you, one of the things that often stands out is how curious he becomes about you. But this curiosity isn't surface level or purely casual. It has depth. He wants to know what makes you tick, what excites you, what you're passionate about. It's as if something inside him is drawn to more than just your appearance. Yes, the attraction may start physically, but his curiosity pulls him into who you are, beyond what he can see. That's because sexual attraction often goes hand in hand with emotional and intellectual interest. It's not just about wanting to be near you. It's about wanting to understand you. You'll notice he asks more questions than most people, and not just the generic ones like, what do you do for work? He digs a little deeper. He might ask what you wanted to be when you were younger, what you do when you're having a bad day, or who inspires you. He's not just making conversation, he's collecting pieces of you. The more he knows, the more his attraction deepens, because he starts connecting the physical pull he feels with the emotional world you carry. This kind of curiosity shows in the way he listens too. He doesn't just hear you, he really listens. He remembers the small things you've said, brings them up later, or uses them to make you smile. Maybe you mention your favorite coffee and next time he shows up with it. Maybe you told him about a stressful meeting and he checks in afterward to see how it went. These actions might seem small, but they reveal something big. His interest in you goes beyond the moment. He's paying attention because you matter to him, in a way that's not just physical, it's personal. A sexually attracted man will often find ways to connect with you on topics that matter to you. If you love music, he might start sending you songs. If you're passionate about books, he might ask what you're reading. He does this not because he shares those interests already, but because he wants to enter your world. He wants to find common ground, even if he has to build it from scratch. This behavior isn't forced. It comes naturally when someone is drawn to another person. Curiosity becomes a way to feel closer, to stay connected, and to keep the interaction alive. Sometimes you'll notice that he encourages you to open up, even about things that are more vulnerable. He might say things like, "Tell me more about that," or "How did that make you feel?" These are not the kinds of questions people ask when they're just being polite. They're the questions of someone who's leaning in emotionally, trying to understand the layers beneath your surface. And this desire to understand isn't disconnected from his attraction, it's fueled by it. That's the more real you become to him, the more he feels drawn in. He might also show signs of protectiveness or interest when someone else talks to you or when you're interacting with other men. That subtle shift in his energy, the way he tunes in a little more closely or redirects his attention back to you, can indicate that he's invested. Curiosity in this case turns into a form of attentiveness. He's not just curious about your past or your passions. He's also curious about your present, your environment, who you're around. He becomes more alert, more engaged, because he's emotionally connected to the outcome. Attraction, especially when it's genuine and not just physical, drives a man to become more mentally and emotionally involved. Curiosity is one of the purest signs of that involvement. It's how he starts to bridge the gap between simply being interested and actually being invested. And when a man is asking questions, leaning into your stories and looking at you like you're the most fascinating person in the room, chances are the attraction he feels runs deeper than he's letting on. When a man is sexually attracted to you, one of the subtle but revealing ways he shows it is through how he talks about chemistry. He may not come right out and say, "I'm sexually attracted to you," but instead he uses language that hints at connection, spark, or energy between you. He might say things like, "We just click," or "There's something different about you," or even joke about how dangerous it would be if you two spent too much time together. These comments are often laced with playful undertones, and while they sound casual, they're his way of expressing that he feels a strong physical and emotional pull toward you. Sometimes his compliments carry an edge that's slightly more personal or flirtatious than normal. He doesn't just say, "You look nice." He might say, "You look insanely good in that," or "How do you always manage to look this incredible?" The emphasis he places on your appearance, your voice, or your energy isn't accidental. He's signaling that he sees you in a way that's different from how he sees others. His words carry a tone that says he's not just being polite, he's affected by you. That's where sexual attraction often lives, not in what's said outright, but in the tone, the context, and the intention behind the words. You may also notice that he uses humor or playful teasing as a way to express this attraction. A lot of men use humor to mask or soften what they really feel. He might tease you about how distracting you are, or jokingly accuse you of using your smile to get your way. These kinds of comments are loaded. On the surface, they're jokes. Underneath, they're a form of testing. He's seeing how you respond, whether you laugh, blush, or flirt back. That feedback tells him whether the attraction is mutual. It's also a safe way for him to express interest without putting too much on the line. Attraction can also come out in the way he positions your interactions. He might refer to the two of you as a team, even in light-hearted ways. He might say things like, "We'd make a great duo," or "Imagine if we ran into trouble together." These statements seem like throwaway comments, but they're subtle attempts to place the two of you together in an intimate or connected context. It's his way of imagining closeness with you and planting the idea in your mind too. Even if it's framed as a joke, it still carries meaning, especially if he says it more than once. The word chemistry itself might come up directly. He could mention that he feels a strong vibe when he's with you, or say things like, "There's something about you that just pulls me in." When he brings up this kind of feeling, he's not just talking about friendship or emotional comfort. He's often describing that buzz of energy that people feel when sexual attraction is present. He may not want to be too forward, so he wraps it in metaphors, but the message is still there. He feels something electric, something magnetic, and he's letting you know without saying it outright. Even in group settings, you might notice how his conversations with you are different. He might lean into private jokes, make references to things only the two of you talked about, or find reasons to start one-on-one conversations even if others are around. His attention lingers on you, and the way he communicates shifts. It becomes more focused, more charged. He may keep things just on the edge of flirtation, enough to feel exciting but still respectful. That's often how men balance expressing desire while trying to maintain a sense of control. This kind of verbal play, the compliments laced with meaning, the teasing, the references to chemistry, it all points to one thing. He's not just being friendly, he's feeling something deeper, something physical, and he's looking for ways to say it without saying too much. When a man is sexually attracted to you, one of the most telling signs is the way he responds to your physical presence, specifically how much attention he gives you, even when you're not directly engaging with him. This isn't about constant staring or obvious gawking. It's about those lingering glances, the way his eyes follow you across the room, or how he becomes noticeably more alert the moment you enter his space. His body might subtly shift toward you, his conversations may pause, or he might unconsciously angle himself in your direction. This reaction is instinctual. It's not something he plans or forces. It just happens because attraction lights up a different part of his attention. Even when he's trying to be discreet, his eyes will give him away. You might catch him looking at you when he thinks you're not watching, then quickly looking away the second your eyes meet. That little moment, that quick shift of the eyes, speaks volumes. It's not about being shy. It's about being caught in a moment of vulnerability. His gaze is drawn to you almost involuntarily, and it keeps coming back like a magnet. It might happen during a conversation, during a pause in the room, or even while others are talking. His focus drifts to you, not because he's bored, but because his attention is naturally pulled toward what he desires. Physical presence affects him in subtle ways too. You may notice that when you get closer, he seems more energized. His tone might change, his smile becomes more genuine, or his voice drops slightly, almost without him realizing it. His body might become more animated or, in contrast, more still as he tries to keep his composure. Either way, you're affecting him. Your nearness changes his energy, and that kind of response isn't something you can fake. It's rooted in instinct. Sexual attraction brings with it a kind of alertness, a focused awareness, and you become the center of that attention. He may also adjust his behavior or appearance when he knows you'll be around. Maybe he puts more thought into how he dresses, styles his hair, or even wears a particular scent. You might notice he seems a little more polished or confident in your presence, as if he's preparing to be seen by someone who matters. That effort is a reflection of how your presence motivates him. It's not just about looking good, it's about wanting to be desired in return. Attraction drives us to present the best version of ourselves, especially when we feel that someone might be paying attention. His attentiveness will also show in small, often overlooked ways. Maybe you're